Alright, now I'm back to work on this, and I was able to clean things up a bit, and now I can see there's one of the bolts that does not show up on the parts list, and there's the other one right there. They were buried under all this grime. So I got to get those two bolts out. That's what's holding this exhaust cover in the front up here. That's why no matter how much I tried to pry right here, this was not separating. So you can see that's all right here in the front. So that's bolt number 1, bolt number 2. And then the other interesting thing is I can see right here, this right here is actually the end of the bolt that threads up from below to hold the flange on, that actually holds on at least one of the two cooling tubes, and it also holds on check valve. The check valve is actually this little plastic plus sign right in here, and if you look, you see this is just, this whole area is just filled with garbage. So I'm definitely gonna have to clean this all out, and then also on the power head where these two areas made up to the bottom of the power head, I'm gonna try and flush some water through there and make sure that that's all dead insects by the looks of it. So this had been sitting for a while, and so the matter at hand is actually going to be getting this bolt out and this bolt out, and it's just obscured enough for me to not be able to get a socket or a wrench on there by this assembly right here. Now this assembly right here is actually welded to a rod that goes down through all the way through here. Well, there's a couple of my bits of hardware, I don't want to lose those. And then there's a big nut underneath here that either you can't get off until you've got this off, or there's a special wrench to get in there to get that off. I'm not sure. But we're going to see if we can avoid dealing with that whole mess altogether. What I'm hoping is, I'm hoping that I can unbolt these two big bolts here and these two big bolts here, and maybe get this whole adapter plate with the exhaust tube, exhaust housing, to come off as a unit, and then take these bolts out. So I'm going to attack these 4 bolts. Well, by heating it up with the torch and then banging on it with the hammer, that was enough of a shock to get these 2 up pretty easily. This one was a little more stubborn, but I was able to get it. This one here, the head of the bolt actually started to round out in the socket. I've got the socket I'm using right now is one of these 6-point sockets. So what I really need is maybe like a 12-point socket. And also I need more heat, but fortunately my torch ran out of gas. I got my multi-point socket. I know it's worn, but still, couldn't believe it. Couldn't grab it at all, which made me wonder that this was maybe the next size down, 7/16. 7/16 won't fit on there. So I had to go back and look, only to find out that that's how bad the heads are. This is a 1/2 inch, fits on there fine, but it's now very sloppy on this one. The head on this is so rounded from when it slipped when I was trying to do it. So I think I'm going to have to resort to the big vice grips. The old standby, good old propane, and I've got it broken loose and it's grabbing. It's well enough now that I can still, even with that partially rounded head, I'm able to get this off. Okay, I now think that with that undone, that I should be able to pull this back in that direction so that it clears this whole part right here, and then drop it down and out. because I can see this bracket is now disconnected. You can see right here where I've got my finger. You can see it moving. But the problem is I snapped one of the 4 bolts. 2 on this side, that one came out, that one snapped off. So I think what's holding it on this side and keeping it from moving out in that direction is this snapped off bolt that's still in the hole. So I think I'll drill that out, and then hopefully I'll be able to get this out of there. Before I do that, I wonder, I've got now some side to side, you see how I got a little bit of side to side movement here? Well, the reason why it's stopping is because of this. If this is a half, no it's not. See, if that was a half cap, then I would take the cap off and on both of these and push it over just far enough to clear that, get that bolt in the clear and take the bolt off. But these I can see are actually a one-piece deal. So the way these come off is they slide off the end of these, of this fork thing right here. And they've got to go in this direction. They can't go in this direction because they run up against this, which means this would have to come out, and it's not going to. No, I think I gotta get this. I think I gotta get that bolt out. Okay, so I started with center punch. Got a little indentation in the center there. Followed up with a small drill bit to just get a little bit of a start, and now I've gone up to a next size up drill bit to get a pilot hole, and now I'm going to go to successively larger drill bits to see if I can't get a screw extractor in there. Alright, I think I've got a screw extractor small enough for that size hole that I drilled. But I'm going to be real careful with that, because if I snap off the end of the screw extractor in the hole, then I've got a bigger problem, because screw extractors are hardened steel and they're very hard to get out of a drilled hole. So, that being said, I'm going to go see what I've got for screw extractors, and then I'm also going to apply quite a bit of heat to that and heat that up and see if I can't use thermal shock to break that loose. Oh, by the way, the reason I got in trouble and snapped this off before was because I didn't bother preheating this one like I did the other ones that were stuck. 3 out of the 4 came out without snapping, so I felt confident I could get this last one. And I didn't apply heat to these because these plastic little retaining things here for the cover screws, I knew they would melt. So I just started to heat this up, and sure enough, this one started to melt. So what I did was this one right here started to melt. So what I did is I popped it out, because it's got just like this plastic backing, and what happens is that sticks in the hole. It sticks in the hole, and then when the screw goes in, it spreads that out, and that's what locks it in there. It's really not much at all. So I'm just going to put that aside and make sure I don't lose it. Not having any luck with the screw extractor, so I'm going to go to plan B, which is I'm just going to completely drill that out of the hole so that it clears this front piece right here, and then I should be able to get it off, or get it to separate the way I want, and then we'll get a better look at what's left in the hole. Alright, I've drilled it out far enough so that now this should come out. It's moving more, but actually it's still not moving yet. Maybe I didn't get it all. Well, that side's still sticking, so I was twisting on it. This side popped out, and I noticed that when I did that, what happened, that actually moved over far enough so I think I can get a socket on it. Alright, I had to drill that out a little bit more, and I was able to finally get that to break free. And actually I could see the remnants of the bolt shaving stuck in there. Get that out of there. And just like that, it drops right off. And then this bumper fell out, which clearly goes in this little indentation right here, and it appears like, judging by the dirt marks, it went in that way, like that. So just keep that little bump there sticks out. Have to remember that when I'm putting this back together, hopefully. Now you can see you can get to that bolt no problem. oddly enough, I don't know if it was just all the heat in that adapter plate that I was constantly heating it for the other ones or what, but these two bolts that I needed to get out, once I got access to them, they came out easily. They weren't in there really bad. There's definitely signs of corrosion in the hole though, so it must have been just the fact that I've been heating up this whole area and working on getting that out. So now, theoretically, this is supposed to pull up, and it does. It comes off like nothing. This is supposed to pull right up and out. Huh, the heck is that stuck on? Thought that's supposed to fit now. Oh, there we go. Alright, that comes right out. We flip this ugly mess over, and now you can see this is the flange that holds one of the tubes in, and then there is a second flange to hold the other tube in. And this one here has got a check valve, the check valve underneath it. This one here, it just goes straight up and just holds the tube on. This one right here I don't think is even showing up on the parts list. So again, another error in the exploded diagrams that I get online for the parts of this parts breakdown.